the first like 2 years, I think we weren't getting paid. And it was like, it was more so like, I really hope this is worth it, because we've literally just given everything ourselves, and like just dove headfirst into Issa. So we would joke like this was like our little child, and it had to work because there was no other option.
From Rise High, this is Why Not Me, a show about Kama'aina creators, entrepreneurs, and community leaders. Behind the scenes stories of how they got to where they are and the valuable lessons they learned along the way. I'm your host, Gabe Ame, and in this episode, we chat with Marissa Eveland, co-founder of popular swimsuit line, Issa Demar. She opens up about the numerous obstacles she and her business partner, Melissa, had to endure and how their steadfast resilience helped them navigate the ups and downs of being an entrepreneur.
What's up, Marissa? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, and thank you for joining us on Why Not Me. So I've been wanting to chat with you to learn more about your story, and really the story of Issa Demar, which is a very popular swimsuit line and brand that you and your co-founder Mel founded. Obviously, you started in 2014, and it's never been really smooth sailing, but you've overcome a lot of obstacles to get to where you guys are today, and to probably the biggest obstacle, which is COVID-19, right?
Yeah.
But let's go from the beginning. I'd love to hear, this wasn't your first entrepreneurial journey. So why don't you kind of take us back to your first step into entrepreneurship?
It was finishing college, and it followed the recession I graduated 2010, and there was the recession. So my good friend Brooke Nebraska, she had come up with an idea to start a mobile store called Roam Hawaii, paint it like a tiger, and everything we would hand make and then sell, and just roam Hawaii and do different events. And Mel and myself, we did the swimwear, and then Brooke was the brains behind all the graphic tees and jewelry, and then Cassandra did clothing. And we all were like four best friends, so we gotta just work together, and then we'd make money, travel, come back home, sew some things, make money, travel, and like it just was like a lifestyle. And people liked it, and we had fun just being able to create one-of-a-kind items. Nothing was the same, so it was constantly like creating new things. Eventually, the sewing of the swimwear, like Mel and I couldn't keep up with it. I started surfing with like a hand brace because I was getting sore wrists from pulling the elastic and like making sure the tension's right. And so then we broke it off, and we started finding a factory for Issa Demar to move everything into production and not have to do it ourselves.
So for Roam Hawaii, it's obvious that everything was kind of handmade, and you knew long term it wasn't going to be sustainable. So you and Mel decided to go, go actually the way to actually make this sustainable is actually having it manufactured and doing wholesale to other retail outlets, right? So I guess what was the first step to actually transitioning to that new model for you?
Well, the first step was finding a factory that we could rely on and know that the quality and production was what they guaranteed. It was all new to us. So when people ask us, oh, how do you start a swimwear line? We tell them, well, we walked the streets of Bali to find a factory, and it's all trial and error. We had no help or investors or anything. So it was just literally us searching, and we eventually found the factory, and they were one of the top ones. So we were fortunate, and then we could move into wholesale. And that again was like, that whole term was something we had to learn and start learning like we bit the bullet and went to our first trade show. That was scary because, again, like, it was all of our savings, and what we were, like, our side hustle money was to get to this trade show. And you're just hoping that someone walks by, a buyer from one store, and likes your product, and you just are kind of just standing there praying that they see something. And then you're learning to, like, they were telling us terms for, like, wholesale, and we both would just, pretend like, okay, yeah, that sounds great. Then as soon as they left the booth, we were Googling, like, what's net 30, or, like, all these, like, different terms, and finding out ourselves, like, okay, like, yeah, we can do that. Or, oh man, we agreed to that and probably shouldn't have, but oh well, that was this store and they're really good. And
Take it till you make it from the very beginning, huh?
Yeah.
So to get everyone a frame of reference, though, is like, okay, you just started your brand and you want to get into retail shops across the country. So you go to this trade show. To give everyone a frame of reference, how much does it cost to actually even participate in this trade show to hopefully even see if someone's interested?
It's ranges. So it's about 8,000 to 10,000, just to, like, everything included. We're not on the mainland, so you have to account for flights, lodging, rent a car, and then just you're going to need catalogs, line sheets, all your setup for your booth. And we were, like, fresh, and so we wanted it to be, like, catch everyone's eye. So we were, like, lugging in, like, flat screen TVs and, like, putting them up, and our neighbors would be like, oh wow, you guys really went out in your booth. And we're like, oh yeah. And then after, like, the third one, we're like, no, we don't need a TV. Like, now we know why everyone was looking at us like we were crazy. But if you can't afford the trade show part, what we did too was we just went to every store. We, like, walked in, hey, like, we just started a swim brand. We'd love to show you. We had some samples, and it's just persistence. Like, you get told no 100 times, but maybe the 110th time they'll say yes, like, just to, okay, we'll just try it so we can get them to leave us alone. And, like, that, went a long way. And, like, physically sending things, it's like, if you can't afford it, we always found a way to, like, okay, well, how can we still get in front of them without actually being in front of them? And it was mailing to all their addresses on their website, and just anything we could think of, emailing every day till we heard something.
So it wasn't just like showing up at a trade show assuming that everyone's gonna find you and then want you, right? It was like a constant hustle, proactive hustle after that, just to get in their face, whether visibly or via email or just something to catch their attention, huh?
Mm-hmm. Pieces of advice I give to people, whether it's, like, they're starting clothing or, any product, it's like, you just have to keep going at it. It's like, just keep jamming them until they're going to accept you, or you'll get an actual no. But just assuming that they don't want you because you didn't get a reply, it's like, no, just keep going. Because personally, my email box, like, it takes, even just this video chat, like, it takes a while. Like, but you kept going, and here I am.
Exactly. Persistence, right? Name of the game. You have that persistence.
Yeah.
You can't be afraid of rejection. So you're just doing a side hustle. In the meantime, you still got, you still got other jobs, right? You're not doing this full time. What are you guys doing?
We were doing anything that, everything. One point, Mel and I were, cleaning vacation rentals for a friend that had one at Turtle Bay, and it was like, okay, every weekend we'd go do that. I was a part-time teacher for an elementary school, and it was nice. It was just, a couple days a week that I had to go in so I could still work on the side. We were doing restaurant jobs, kind of just anything. If someone came to us with something, we said yes and did it to make money to just reinvest into Issa, because it was all self-funded. So
was there any time early on in this early first year or two where you kind of was looking at, you and Mel are looking at each other and like, did you guys make the right decision? Are we on the right path?
Yeah. The first, like, 2 years, I think we weren't getting paid. And it was like, it was more so like, I really hope this is worth it, because we've literally just given everything ourselves, and, like, just dove headfirst into Issa. So we would joke like this was like our little child, and you know, it had to work because there was no other option. Like once we've invested at like year 3, we finally could pay ourselves a little bit, but it was just like, you know, people would ask us like, what else are you gonna do? We're like, really, no, this has to work. Like we've put so much into it. It's like there is no option B. That's what's gonna get you far, is if you have that, you know, like work ethic to keep going, and you know, not taking no for an answer, and just keep pushing. And like where I like fall, and like sometimes it's like, oh, I break and I think it's the end, like Mel comes in and she's like, no, we're gonna make this happen, you know. So it's just like finding that partner to just like lift you up, and then you're lifting them up, and you know, keeping the ball rolling through like times like this with coronavirus. Like it's hard, and you know, I'm fortunate to have a business partner that we both can just keep pushing each other,
bouncing ideas off each other, relying on each other for support. No, totally get it. And for you, what was your guys' big break when that moment of like, oh, okay, yeah, I think we're onto something?
Our big like break, or kind of like, oh, like, wait, someone like this is going somewhere, was probably waking up to find out that Jennifer Lopez wore one of our one pieces for her music video, and ended up being like a lot of the music video. Like it wasn't just like a 3-second clip. It was like we're watching it over, and like it was like, oh my gosh, like this is our suit. Like this is weird. Like wait, like, and pinching ourselves and like, this happening? Like this is J-Lo. Like yeah. After that, it was like, you know, we established ourselves, or like, you know, we're more credible because of that, and it just helped the momentum for, you know, retailers to be like, oh, okay, like who are you two little girls, you know, because that was early on when we started Issa, and no one really knew the brand at all because we were from Hawaii, and it was like, well, where are you guys from? Like they thought we were Spanish, and you know, the name threw them off. But yeah, that having that helped. Like after that, it was like, okay, we're doing something.
So everything was going well with retailers wanting your product, but then, you know, few years later, there's a shift in the marketplace, right? And it's like any kind of business; it's not always static. There's going to be shifts in the market that you have to adjust to. And so, what was that?
We got in at the right time, and there weren't a flood of bikini brands. So we were able to, you know, like get into the retailers and expand our wholesale. And then we started seeing a lot of our retailers start private labels. And we just realized, okay, you know, when they start doing that, it's all a numbers game. And that means our dollars and our orders are going to get smaller. So we just made the choice, you know, okay, well, let's also focus on ourselves and our e-commerce. And then we started doing more pop-up events, as far as like pool parties, like hotels. We did events at Four Seasons, and it was like go in, set up, people could come in and try on things. And then from there it was like, can we come to your office? Do you have a store? And we didn't, so we started playing with the idea of a pop-up, a little bit more permanent on Oahu. And we tried out in Mililani, and it was central. Like people were driving to us, and you know, they received it really well, and we could, you know, personally, Mel and I were running it, so we could see like direct feedback right with the customer, like, oh, okay, yeah, that doesn't work, or oh, you know, we thought that was a top for a bustier customer, but it's not. Like, and so then we just decided to do close the Mililani one and then open up in town, which was right before coronavirus. So
yeah, so you got feedback for the Mililani store that people were driving from town to Mililani, so you knew there was a demand, which kind of was the catalyst for you to open up in town near Ward. And so basically your lease signed was February what?
It started February 1st, but we opened February 29th.
And then we all know coronavirus hit basically, you know, early March. And
Yeah.
So just like anybody else in retail right now, where does that leave you right now?
Yeah, it was hard because we had a holiday pop-up over Christmas and January, which we also like made the choice to just dive in. Ala gave us a really good opportunity. We were across the Apple store and we could sell for those 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And Mel and I just looked at each other like, okay, it's gonna be a lot of work and we won't have Christmas, we won't have any holidays, like we're probably gonna have to work New Year's and New Year's Day, like it's gonna suck, but I feel like we got given this opportunity, let's take it. And so
Yep.
we ran that, and then it was supposed to just flow into the Ward Center, but then that got kind of just pulled out from under our feet. It's like we set up our whole shop and then we got noticed we wouldn't be allowed to even access our space. So we had to pull everything back out, and like now it's just an empty walls. And it's like, it was hard because like just unhanging suits that we had just put up 23 days before was like,
right.
Oh my gosh, like we just wanted to break down because it was like there's so much effort to get to that point, and then it was just like pulled out, like break down, and there's no help in the sense of like you still got rent pay, and we're only there till next summer, so it was hard. And there was points where we were kind of like what's even next, like is this the final, like is this how this ends? Like what we've figured out through this whole process is like there's always these obstacles. It's like we have really good luck or really bad luck, and this past month we were dealt really bad luck, and it's like, okay, flip it, and constantly just trying to remember like you have to work through these obstacles and constantly stay positive because it's out of our control. Like we can't change anything. We literally cannot do anything. We just took this time to like, okay, we are forced not to be able to go into town and work. So like focus on ourselves and our online. And we also were able to surf more, like, we just have more time for ourselves. And at the same time, also to just refocus on the brand and what it's about. And like, we started to bridge the gap between fashion and function. And so we're back in the water right now during this time and just trying to stay positive and look at it like, okay, we got a vacation we didn't even know we were going to get, unpaid, a lot of stress over our heads, but we can get in the water in the morning and then we can come into our office and focus on our online. But yeah, it's been hard with the whole coronavirus, and we're thankful that our customers on Oahu and neighbor islands have also, they've really like stepped up, and like our online orders are doing better than we thought they would.
Well, I love how UML turned a very big negative and try to find the positive in everything. All right, I want to transition over to a part of the segment where we showcase an old post. And this was actually on Rome Hawaii's page. So if you guys check out Rome Hawaii. But I'm looking at this, and it's hashtag humble beginnings. So tell me about this post.
This is like all the feels. This was like the most like what we thought was like stressful chapters, and it was actually the most carefree time. But I feel like that's a photo of our hard work, because that mail truck when we got it was just like a rust bucket. That whole back like jewelry shelf my dad helped us build, and it really is humble beginnings. Like all of that in those cases and what's hanging from the poles like out of the back of the mail truck was everything we made by hand. And it's like the four of us who were best friends and just literally sewing to make money to travel and no responsibilities besides the van's registration.
Living life back then, huh?
Yeah, I know. Like if you're watching this and you're in high school or just finishing college, like enjoy those days, because they were like look back and I'm like, man, I thought I had like a lot of things to, you know, like handle and on my plate. And now I'm like, man, those are the good old days.
It doesn't even compare now, huh?
Yeah.
Where is this vehicle today? You guys still have it?
No, Brooke ended up donating it to the Kidney Foundation. Yeah, it was a lot. It was like would fall apart, or like I was all, it was like me or Mel were the drivers, and like the thing had no power steering, so like turning into different, it was
It
an old tiger.
it was good for you guys, but it ran its course, huh?
Yeah.
Switching over to speed round challenge. So I'm gonna ask you a series of questions. First thing that pops in your head, go for it. All right. All right. Last show you binge watched.
Oh, Breaking Bad.
Something that makes you laugh.
Some of the first one where Mel and I used to hand sell. People used to call them fishing lures.
Oh wow, we're gonna see that one. Last place you ordered takeout from.
Raised by the Waves.
Favorite book.
Walk in Love, Live in Grace.
Favorite quarantine snack.
I love beef jerky.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that. Go to karaoke song.
Cardi B. I like it like that.
Gotcha. What is your moment in your career that most stands out?
Probably when we finished our first Milani shop, and then we had like a soft opening. It was like all of our close family and friends. Like I remember being like so stoked and like wanting to just cry because I was so like, wow, like thank you. You know, we're blessed to have such a good support system.
If you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive.
Auntie Ralson.
Right on, makaha girl. What's your best piece of advice for any Hawaii high school, college student trying to figure out in the world today?
To find your passion and just get ready to work really, really, really hard if you want that to be your career.
Sounds like the playbook for Issa Demar.
Yeah. Just don't believe Instagram. Everyone's always like, oh, you're traveling, and Mel and I are like, no, we only post the glamorous sides. Like if you really saw it, you wouldn't want our lives. Like it's not all rainbows and oceans.
But bottom line, you and Mel are able to do what you want to do, right? Which is the ultimate goal.
Yeah, we love it. So, you know, as much work as it is, it doesn't feel like it. And it's with one of my best friends. So it's like we get to come in the office and hang out, and it doesn't feel like work.
Well, congratulations on your success so far. I know there's some challenges, but I know you and Mel will get through it. So best of luck with you guys and Issa Demar, right?
Thank you. Thanks
right on. Thanks for being on the show, Marissa.